Hello and welcome to Women Empowerment Edition Impact for Change. The purpose of the podcast is to provide the space for women to share their stories in an inspiring way to help empower other women outside there. Now, today's guest is a self-driven mom of three. She is passionate about helping women break free from mental chains of social expectations and find their voice. She is a confidence and mindset mentor. Please help me welcome Imana. Hi, Imana, you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for having me.
It's absolutely a pleasure, and thank you for accepting to be on the podcast.
Of course.
Well, Imana, why don't you go and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Hi. My name, of course, as you introduced, is Imana Azeez. I am a 40-year-old mom of three. I specialize in helping women break free of societal change, break free of what others have expectations of us, whether it's our parents, our bosses, our spouses, or the government in general. I help cultivate women's motivation so that when they leave from working with me, even during their downtime, they'll be able to lift themselves back up, as well as reframing their ideas of what they think is expected of them to what it is that they actually want to do, their goals, their desires, and how to establish strong boundaries so that they know when they walk into a room, whatever expectations of them are basically gone and they can continue enforcing that.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. And you told me you're based in North or East America?
In North America, I am based in the USA.
Yes, USA. Yeah, I mean, so powerful, so powerful. Iman is a very inspiring person. So, Iman, what challenge that have you gone through that have changed your life?
So I believe with most individuals, we will say that we went through a lot of different challenges, but my challenges actually started as a young child. I am one of nine. However, I am the oldest girl. And in most of our cultures, regardless of which country, the girls have the expectations put on them as being the one who watches the younger siblings, the second mom. And that's a lot, especially when I have a whole bunch. There's six younger than me. So that's a lot that I was dealing with. Even
Yeah.
with that, my parents were not in a healthy relationship themselves with each other, and
Mm,
they bickered back and forth. And because of that, a lot of that fell on us. My father at the time was
mm,
very stereotypical. mm, what's the word they're using now? Because I don't want to use masculine, because a healthy masculinity is okay. But
mm,
he believed that a woman's place was barefoot in the kitchen. And this was his own words to me
mm,
when I was 15 years old.
mm-hmm.
And in the process, and my mom was when she was younger, she also, I guess you could use were around the streets of stuff a lot because they took those thoughts of things that they did and how to expect it out on me. And at the time, I did not care for any of those things, and I still don't. But just the fact of having the expectation of raising your younger siblings, being told that they didn't want me to go to college, they didn't care honestly about me furthering anything other than being married, and
Mm-hmm.
that I would get pregnant, I will do this if they don't do these things for me. And it was a whole lot. So I really became much of an outcast in my family household.
Mm.
Be- And it wasn't until I started college that one day I decided I was not going to return home. It was summer break. Said I was going to summer school. I packed my stuff up while they were sleeping, and I never turned back.
Wow, you just gone.
I was gone, and I told them 2 years prior. I was like, when I leave, I'm not going to come back. And they laughed because they knew that I didn't know how to read signs. I had a decent education as I was homeschooled, but the education didn't actually come from my parents. It came from my willingness and love for learning. My mom was going to college while we were younger, so everything that she would bring back, I would absorb. and that was helped out a lot because I did teach my younger siblings read. I read certain artworks and books such as Romeo and Juliet, Othello, and even Around the World in 80 Days before I hit double digits. So yes, I
Mm,
did not turn back, and I was a bit lost because I was book smart, but I was not street smart, which landed me in my next hurdle was what I had gotten with my ex-husband at 24, and we were married when I was 25, and I had my first child.
wow, what is really, I mean, that's powerful. I'm sure you know, Imana, there's a lot of women, they are going through the same, you know, their parents, the social, you know, the stuff that they say to women out there. And to be honest, especially to Muslim women, but I did find this very
Mm-hmm.
common, even in my back home, even being told to me, you know, at the end of the day, you will be, you know, just getting married and have children, and there is no that much expectation from the girl. The-
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So
It's
how?
and
Yeah,
it's like all of our dreams when we're younger, it's cute. But as you get older, it's time for you to grow up and fit into the role that we have ordained inside for you. Your thoughts and matter, and hopes doesn't matter.
yeah, I know, but which is wrong, which is wrong,
Yes.
and I think that what really led you to break that cycle. You know, coming from the background where you have nine siblings and you are in the middle, like I know what it feels like to be in the middle child because I am as one as well, and to go through everything that you've gone through, it's wow, that's a really, really inspiring and empowering as well. Like that shows the resilience. And that I think what made you break that cycle and just go out and just don't come back and start your own life.
So, yeah, it took a lot of tears and frustration for me to leave. And, but I knew that I wasn't going to come back. And that has always been a decision and attribute of mine. I can hold on for a while, but once, when a woman's fed up, she's fed up. And it
Mm,
doesn't just mean for her spouse. And that was for where I was living as well when I was still staying with my parents at a young age.
mm,
However, just because I freed myself from that situation doesn't mean I started the healing process. So I took a lot of that trauma that I had as a child
mm,
onto my marriage. And in our culture, you don't seek therapists, you don't seek mentors. Whatever has the house stays in the house. So I really didn't know what to do with it. And I figured it would be okay, but it's not unless you deal with it, process it, it's not okay. So with
mm,
my marriage, I was married to my ex-husband for 9 years. And he was very abusive. He was physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially abusive. And I stayed because part of me was like I never really wanted to get married, but I also, since we have society telling us, don't break up a home. Women always want to do this. You're better off staying with them. At least the kids have the same father in a home. We
mm,
hear that so much. And for a while, you get into like a DV cycle where you believe those things. And there's times when I didn't believe it, and there's times where I was on the edge, just like, but maybe. And he brought me on a roller coaster ride. And it was just one time when he took some things of mine, uh, was let me rephrase it. He took some things that he bought for me
mm,
and threw out the window because he would do that. Isolate you from your family. That's what they'll do when they're abusing you. Isolate you from your family. Make sure that the only things you have is things that they got you that would have power to take it back from you whenever they want. That's a whole longer story. But my oldest child ran to him and he kicked her away. And then she looked at me with tears in her eyes. And I said, "Is this what you want your daughters to be like? Is this what you want them to see?" And he told me, "If they are like you, then I don't care." And that was the final straw.
Wow.
Sometimes when we don't see our own worth, but sometimes when we forget who we are,
Mm-hmm.
we need someone else to attach ourselves to, not just until we get the strength. And for me, at that moment, it was my kids because I had was broken so down so bad that sometimes I didn't care whether I lived or died. But the thing that held me back was my children at the time. So when he said that he didn't care what happened to
Mm.
them, it was like I remember being on my knees crying. He said that, and it felt like the tears went reverse back in my eyes, and I stood up, and I was like, "What?" And he left out the house
Mm.
drunk, and I just sat and I just replayed stuff, and as I replayed stuff, I was thinking about all the other things that I've overcome since then. In the
Mm.
middle, because I still had other journeys and other obstacles in between. And people did not know this was like the strong person at their job was being abused at home. And a lot of times, women, again, we are taught that that's nobody else's business. Keep that at home. Listen to your husband, work it out. Maybe if you did this, or maybe if you didn't do that. But at
Mm.
work, I was standing up for people at work. At work, I was at a job that they required more hours. And I wouldn't do it unless they paid me for it. And they've tried it. And I've advocated for women to get higher salaries because I've done it to myself. I've quit jobs where they begged me to come back because they knew my worth after I told them they weren't paying me enough. I was doing all of these things, while still going to college, while maintaining high degrees. But my inside at home, I was still broken. So as I sat down there and had to remember who the heck I was, that's when I
Mm-hmm.
made my escape route.
Mm.
And and at the time, I literally left. I had a home that I paid for. I was a homeowner, not no mortgage by the time I was 28, which is a very big feat for a lot of people. And it was the land we had no payments on it at an early age. But I packed up, he was gone. I packed up my kid's suitcase and we left and we've never turned back. It My decision to move because I know that you cannot heal
Mm.
in the place that broke you. You cannot base our life on trying to fix someone else. We cannot, especially as women, continue giving into the codependent stories that we have to do this, that we aren't worthy. I've heard it all. You already have kids, no one's going to want you. Like you're going to be on government assistance, all that stuff. I've heard it all. And just like so many other women, the difference is most of those never got to me. With my ex, I did not want to break up our marriage because I feared that it would hurt the kids. But what would hurt more? Spreading on this generational curse of having my kids think that that's okay for a man to treat his wife like that. That was one thing that was not going to allow. And we had to start from square one. We had to go back from renting. I had to work and get a night job because I still had young children, so I want them during the daytime, work at night to get on my feet. And throughout that process, I started doing things that I've never done before. I was told that I was a bad dancer. Since then, I have been on stage and did jazz dance, tap
Mm.
dances, and hip hop dances on stages. I was I was told that I wasn't going to be able to find certain jobs, but the thing is, I don't want certain jobs. I was told that a woman wouldn't be able to make it on her own, and here I am, many years later, making it on my own. And one of the things that I want a lot of women to understand is that when you come from a background, and sometimes the background just could be just being born a woman. If you come from a background that from the moment we're born, we are given a doll. It's here, learn to take care of this. While boys are given tool sets. You know, they're taught to be able to handle themselves, while women are taught to be able to, we have to take care of others. Not to say there's no wrong with being able to learn the nurturing, but that's just the expectations. When we are raised up to be like, when you're going to get married, when you're going to have kids, men don't do that. They'll ask the guy, when you're going to be in the next promotion? When are you going to play golf? When are you going to be free? These are just multiple stereotypes that's put against women. And I saw this in my workplace. I saw this with my friends. I saw this in their relationships. And
Yeah.
they started coming to me for advice because it's like, you're so brave that I do this. It's like, it's not a point of being brave. It's not a point of being strong. It's a point of knowing and understanding your worth because you are worthy just because, not because of what anyone else puts on you. You're worthy just because.
Wow.
And that's where I am now.
You are phenomenal. I mean, you picked yourself up and you kept going. And some women out there, man, honest to God, that I know personally, they stay in a marriage even if it's the marriage is being abusive.
Hmm.
Like, because there is all different kind of abuse. They can be like mentally, it can be emotionally, it can be physically. It
Yes.
it's kind of they've got that social stigma, and women believe that I am here on this earth to just fulfill my duty as a woman. Like, like honest to God, and women outside, I think they need to wake up. They need that waking up call
Yes.
in their
Yes.
lives. But Amina, I know you had the courage, which is that's phenomenal, to pick yourself up and go when the marriage got really abusive. But what do you think of women out there who actually stay in a marriage? They know that their husband are really abusive. What do you think? Because you said you was fearing, there was the fear. So what do you think make the woman stay in a marriage knowing that their husband is very abusive and they got abused?
So when it comes to abuse, there's fear and then there's when denial is real strong.
Mm.
Uh, there are there are the good times that becomes less and less as time goes on, and we stick to that, hoping that he'll return back to that, which it doesn't really, because it's a show. When he sees that you're getting mad, then he'll be nice for a little while, go back to what he's doing. That's and that's just towards the middle. However, the main thing is just fear. It's fear that you'll be judged. It's fear that if he's the sole provider, that you'll have to get a job. And it's not that you fear getting a job. You fear that your kids are going to be split between two homes. You fear that, and this is a rightful fear. Here in North America, a lot more men are getting 50-50 custody, and a lot of women are having to go and see the person that abused them at drop-off spots where they are still not physically, but they are still verbally abusing them because, again, the patriarchy and dealing with the systems that is severely broken. It is not geared towards the health of the kids. They're more geared towards trying to make things that's even, and just even does not mean fair.
Mm,
Even does not mean fair. You would not make a low staircase for a
yeah.
child that can only take a few steps and say this is good, but what about the child in a wheelchair? Just because they're the same age doesn't make that the evenness is not fair. And that goes for things here. There has been an influx of women that are being still abused after the relationship. So most of the time they do feel that, hey, look, this happened to my friend. So why don't I just stay in a relationship? Because at least this way the kids are being taken care of. But they're really not. They want their people, just look around at our younger generation. They have more, they're having more emotional and mental issues than any generation before us.
And do you think that is because of the social and the stigma that they actually have? Because
Absolutely. Absolutely. The social stigma of leaving, the social stigma of really believing that nobody else will want them, the mental stigma and social lies that are told to women that we're worth more during our childbearing years, and that no man wants to take care of nobody else's kids, and even outside of what someone else would do for you. Our wake up call is we have to love, honor, and know who the heck we are outside of a man. Because the moment you move uh, anybody, your parents, the man, society, out of the equation and you focus on you realize that there are so many doors and possibilities open that you would have never thought of because you always put someone else there in front to take care of you. But it's really hard to get to that point when you're constantly being drilled that what you're doing is wrong, what you're breaking around a family is wrong. I mean, you're fat. And what about your mom and your dad? A lot of times they still have the same expectations. You got to work it out, or even they might not even know that you're being abused, or they do know, but they wait for you to come out and say something. And I know in a lot of cultures, the father, he's going to tell his daughter, you need to work that out, or maybe you shouldn't have did this, and which isn't okay. But if that's what she hears all the time, and she doesn't feel as though she has a safe spot to leave, then what's she going to do? She doesn't know what else to do. It takes a lot of courage to decide that you don't want to go. It takes even more courage to take that step and to stay away. On average, women leave 3 times before they decide not to come back. On average.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think women, Imana, they've been taught since, young that to rely on men, because the woman when she grow
Mhm.
up, wake up, like, the first person she see in front of her is her father, and then her brother, and then after that is her husband. And if her husband died, it's going to be her son. So they, as a woman in some culture, they never taught to be independent. They
Mm-hmm.
always taught to be dependent.
Mm-hmm.
And if they try to break that, that means she is not loyal. She don't have any respect. She's a shameful woman. And they put all these different kind of labels. Even as a
Yes.
woman among us, like, even I'm not generalize it in here, but I saw women,
Mhm.
Iman, I saw women putting other women down instead of uplifting.
Yes.
They tell them, even they are
Absolutely.
being told as well, like, at the end of the day, you need to get married, and you know you hitting 30, you're not going to be able to have children, you're not going to be able to do this, you're not going to be able to travel yourself. It's just that constant negative talking and trying to put women down. I think that's what really caused, and the women become so, I'm gonna say, like, weak. But if she decided to go out, she won't gonna be able to have that power,
Mm-hmm.
and she don't know. She have no clue what to do.
Exactly. That that is 100% broad, that makes me want to push further. Uh, so when I usually introduce myself, I will say motivation and character lifestyle design coach. However, my main stance at this specific time is being a woman's advocate, not just to advocate for women, but to teach women that they're able to advocate for themselves. And to advocate is not just speaking. Advocate isn't just saying no. Advocate is to be able to feel it and to push it on your own. Because if a woman who's been told no and that she's of very little worth other than being a wife or a mother steps out and she's doing it, she's not just breaking generational curses, she is creating these generational blessings by freeing her children of the same mindset. This is a lot, and sometimes it's a heavy burden when those around you don't believe it. So I want that women to be able to advocate for their needs, for their wants. And if people don't respect you, they are going to have to be fine to cut them off. We don't need caring, well loving people in our lives that don't actually listen to you. I'm not, I do not have your best. I don't have you in my best interest. You're not my best interest if I am constantly talking down on you and what you tell me that you want to do and how freedom feels to you.
Yeah.
That's not important. That's not what we need. And there are so many women on the internet, and of course, as you said, that has told you, and I've told us. And I just got finished debating with a woman just yesterday as well,
Mhm.
uh, for the same reason. And it was a woman who came out to one of our groups, and she asked for advice. And it was about her husband had gave her a gift. And this may seem simple
Yeah.
to some people. He gave her a gift, and she said, "I'm not going to state what the gift was, but I am going to say that he gave me the same gift for 3 years in a row. He knows that I don't like this gift." And I'll give you a breakdown. I lose rings all the time. And when he gets me jewelry, because our son is so young, if I put it down because I'm busy watching our son, or if he pulls it, it hurts my ear and I take it off, I forget what I do with it because I'm running after a toddler. Then he gets angry about it. So I told him, please don't get me jewelry. And I also told him, don't give me yellow roses because yellow is his favorite color, not mine. And my mother, her late mom, also loved yellow roses and it triggers her. So he would do this. So she sent him a message on Mother's Day and she said, "Thank you for the gift and I really appreciate it. But as I told you, I'd rather you spend time with our son and take him out so I can have a clear day instead of buying me something that you know I wouldn't want. So I'm going to have to go ahead and regift it because these things do trigger me." And she was dragged in the comments by women that says, "You're being ungrateful. At least you got something. You're doing too much. You're complaining. I won't get you nothing else or get it. And I'm a grateful person. Ain't no way." And this is where I step in. It's like, you guys, this is not women supporting women. She stated her boundaries. It wasn't his first time. First time was a mistake. It wasn't his second time. She said 3 years in a row, if you're with someone who's supposed to love and care for you, they would listen. They would specifically not try to do something 3 years in a row. And her stating her boundaries again for the third time and telling him now I'm going to regift it. Maybe she's setting the expectations that this is how she must be treated. She did say that, hey, you did not have to get it for me. I am okay with no gift. Than rather be triggered and rather to have to deal with my mental health because she's advocating for herself. And I was told is there that advocating is only if someone's trying to hurt you. No, it's not. We are not gatekeeping what we can and cannot advocate for. If I am living in my authentic and real self, I'm going to walk in a room and I'm going to teach you how I want to be treated. If you choose to disrespect me, if you choose to ignore me, then I choose to remove you. But you do not choose and get to tell me how and what I can and not like.
Which is having that power back, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women struggle with having that power back. Honest to God, because they their father passed that power to their husband or their like I say like their brother, and they just keep
Mm-hmm.
carry on. So breaking that generation curse cannot be an easy. And I know you've done it, and it took you a courage, and you said it took you a lot of tears, a lot of mourning, that to come up and be able to do what you had to do.
Yes. So, and it's really important that we show other women not just what happens on the other side, because we can see people that look like us, rich, successful, free on the internet, and but we're not showing the path. We're not showing the journey. People focus on the events mostly on social media, but not the journey. So when other women are looking at it and they say, well, this can never be me because I have X, Y, Z. They can't see themselves being from where they are to where they want to be because they don't know how and they don't think it's possible. So for me, a lot of the tears, a lot of the cry, a lot of the moaning, yes, it took that. And it's very important to know and acknowledge because when it's an internal struggle, because you're fighting against what your hopes, your dreams, your desires, your freedom. Freedom to just say no without repercussions is the first part. But not only that, you're fighting against words in your mind that's not even yours. You're not the one who originally told you that you can't do this, that you're not worth anything, that you need to have kids, that you need to hurry and get married. Those weren't our original ideas. But that's what we heard so long that they become a part of our identity. So it is an internal battle that we have to come with first. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to sit on it. You're not going to, you know, go from being a disregarded housewife to running around in Bali on vacation in one day. It's a process. And the more we allow for ourselves to be open and clear and vulnerable, and the more that we seek mentorship, the more that we connect with other women that are where we want to be, and some a lot of them in the process of where we want to be, the more we can see, hey, we're not alone. This is how they did it. How could this work out for me? First thing that we have to do
Mhm.
is deal with our own fight in ourselves. I am trained in NLP, which is and I'm trained in breath work. Breath work, a lot of times people think it's just teaching on breathing, but it actually helps to clear the mind.
Mhm.
And when you clear your mind, you get rid of a lot of negative beliefs during that time. And then you focus on what you want to feel. And then after you focus on what you want to feel, it'll give you a good roadmap of how to get from where you are to there. NLP also helps with that as well, which is one of the things I do help women with. However, I went through NLP as I felt a lot of the negative thoughts and stuff coming back because I'm human and I do have to still battle this. And most of them I don't care about, but
Mhm.
a lot of it, a lot of people don't get. The one thing I'm very grateful that I did get.
And what
My
is what?
dad passed last year.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Before he passed, it's okay. It was very, very fast. It
Mm.
went very, very fast. He went from being asking us to go fishing with him to us saying goodbye in the hospital.
Mhm.
But before he passed, he apologized. He apologized for a lot of stuff that he said, and a lot of stuff that he did. Mind you, I was, 38 at the time. And I was very happy. Very happy that he did, but I was at the point in my life where I didn't need his apology for closure. There's a lot, and that's a big need. People's like, I just want this person to know that they wronged me. Why? Because they might not mean it. They might just fake it. They might be saying it because it's something you want to hear, and then just go back again.
Mm.
We have to be okay with letting people be okay with how they view us, but we have to be more than okay to know that your view on us, your mind games, and
Mm.
society's view on us has nothing to do with how we feel about ourselves. Once you get that, you're halfway out.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's how people see. It's not about how people see you. It's about how you see yourself,
Mhm.
and that is very important. But a lot of women out there, they see themselves through the lens of people,
Mhm.
and they take people's opinion every single day. Like what to eat, what to wear, what to do this in every step of the way. Did you have you also had to do that also yourself at some point?
So when I went to college, my mom literally brought me the clothes,
Mm-hmm.
my clothes, according to her style, and I hated it. So I would say that I did, and also my first semester, my first term in college, she also chose my classes, which I did not like.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew this was not for me. And at that time, I had already made plans on leaving.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, one of the things that will have to set me apart from a lot of people is from an early stage,
Mm-hmm.
even though I was hearing a lot of these expectations,
Yeah.
I did not want them. even though I fit into the role as a survival. I think a lot of people, women don't realize they're doing it as a survival coping mechanism. We're just doing it. Not because we want to, we're just used to doing it now.
Yeah.
But if you sit down and ask yourself, is this what you want? You'll say no. When I was going from class to class and I would talk to myself, I didn't want it. When I got with my ex-husband, and he literally wanted to mold me into what he wanted. And that would have to be one of the hardest things when I came to it. He wanted me to wear certain clothes. And it's really funny. And I have to laugh about it because we're in a world where they say women are free. Why would you want to wear a hijab? You're free. You don't have to wear it. Why would you want to wear anything that I'm wearing, cover up, or however you want to? You don't have to wear this. You're free. Did your husband make you turn this? I've had that question too. Someone asked me, did your husband make you turn this? I was like, no, he did not. Oh, so your husband's not the one who purchased that? I was like, no. A big argument that me and my ex used to get into is that I like the way I have my own sense of clothing and fashion I wear. And he wanted me to dress like I was in the streets. It's the exact opposite, what
Wow.
society wanted. Yes, he
So
would
he
buy,
dressed you.
yes, and we would, had got me like 7-inch clear, glittery stripper heels.
What?
Yes, uh, like toe rings, things like that. You know, body jewelry, and it wasn't me, and it would be an argument, a fuss, and a total meltdown if I didn't want to wear it. So yes, I was. So for me, freedom isn't showing our body. Freedom is having the choice as a woman to wear what you want to wear, regardless. Having the choice of being able to go comfortable in your own skin, regardless. So that's also part of it. And when I hear people say why would you wear that? That's like, why not? Like, why are we always getting mad at women who want to cover up, but you consider this freedom when they don't? Why can't they both be free? Because she wants to wear this and she wants to wear that. But it's always through the lens of somebody else instead of the person who is wearing it. What do they
Yeah.
want? That's why that's really important. Always spend time with yourself to see what it is that you want. And in my practice, I've learned that women can't find out what they want because they never had a chance to find out what they wanted. It's not like they remember who they were because they never created who they were. They were always somebody's daughter taking care of the kids. There was always somebody's housekeeper. They were always somebody's wife. They were always, somebody's sister. They were never themselves. And that is a big thing. You can't, they would fit it into a mold that was already made for them, but they would never ask if they wanted to be in that mold.
Yeah. Yes, I see that a lot out there, to be honest, because they never been taught how to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So what is like, because I know you said you have like 9 siblings, and what is like to break that generation and be the first person to break free and just do what you want to do without
Well, I'm still
having,
the black sheep of the family. I'm still the black sheep of the family. However, I do get along with all my siblings, which is great and amazing because I love them dearly. But it's funny for me because I do things on the whim. But I will say, hey, look, in 2 months we're going to Puerto Rico. Let's go. We're going to go on a cruise. Let's go. And I have family members that's just like, you're just always going somewhere. I'm too scared to do that. I was like, why? And they can never give me a real reason of why they're scared of doing it. That lets you know it's not even their fears. It's just fears that's been given to them internally. It's like I'm free to dress, to wear, to travel, to go wherever I want to go. Not because I need to, but because I want to. And I will act on my wants as long as they aren't hurting anyone. And it feels freeing, the liberation of being able to choose to do what I want with my family, with my kids, to travel, to let and share my world with other women is
Mhm.
the most gratifying and liberating feeling I've ever had.
Wow, that's such a powerful, very, very powerful. And you said you also like coach, that you help women out outside there
Yes,
to break from that
absolutely.
generation. And I think they need to hear this because they it's so powerful and it's so inspiring. It let them like think about their lives and how they can remove that stigma and just live their life the way they want to live it without fear, without being judged, without being, cursed, without
Hold
without
on.
all these things.
I, I hold on. I am going to say one thing.
Yeah.
You women, I I help and I encourage and motivate women to be able to make the life and design the life that they choose without fear. However, there will be judgment. Be having courage and having confidence of doing things does not
Mm,
stop the judgment because we are not in control of others. Having confidence means walking into the room knowing that people will judge you and not give it a care.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely, and that's exactly why I'm like not worrying about what other people say. It's more about you worry about you like ourselves and how we carry ourselves. The judgment will be there anyway. Like since we born like 100 centuries ago, and it's gonna keep going until the end. So there will be judgment.
Exactly. Someone's going to judge you regardless. So if they want to watch you every move and judge you, why not give them a show?
Wow, what a really powerful, powerful. I mean, I hope women outside there, man, are really gonna listen to this podcast and say, "Damn, like what I've been doing all my life." Because some women like they got sense of awareness, and some of
Hmm.
them like they learn the hard way, and that is
Yes,
okay because that is the journey of them discovering things in their lives. Like you, like what you did discover things, and you learned the hard way, and you had such a tough upbringing, but you kept going, and you show
resilience
you
is important.
yeah, you show your resilience. Your children, when they grow up, they will see this. They're not going to carry that generation curse of women being like, very weak. They listen to the man. They know now that I can be strong like my mother. And I wish women outside there today, who have children who are like, get impacted by these social stigmas, they learn because their children watching them.
Exactly, absolutely.
So what advice would you give to these women who actually going or are gone through the same experience? They feel that social stigmas and they always listen to what people say. So what you would say to these women today?
I know as a woman, it's hard for us to get a break. However, I implore them to take 5 minutes out of the day, 10 if they can,
Mm-hmm.
and write or think about what it is that they wanted to do when they were growing up, when they were children, or even after that. What is it that you want to do? And then now think, and are you happy with what you're doing now? If what you're doing now and what you want to do doesn't align, and if you're not happy, then what does it take to make you get to that point? If it's leaving, adjusting, or putting healthy boundaries, then what are the steps that you would like to take in order to do that? Because the moment we realize that this could be your life forever and you only have one life, one chance to go ahead, you need to go ahead and take that chance. And it doesn't have to be jumping over a mountain. Sometimes it's that first step. The first step is the most powerful because for every step that you take, you may take two steps backwards. But as long as you keep going and you learn to love you outside of what other titles people put you in,
Mhm.
then you're going to be okay. The greatest thing that I have ever did, I won't say greatest, but one of the most powerful things that I have ever did
Mhm.
was I was in an argument with my ex and I stood standing up for myself. And he looked me in the eye and he said, "Who the F do you think you are?" And at that moment, I stood up, wiped my face, and I said, "I'm Imana Amatullah Aziz. Get the heck out of my house because your name is powerful."
Wow. Powerful. So powerful. I hope women, listen to this today because this is gonna change their lives, Imana. This can be a turning point in their lives. And I hope that, every woman who's been, thinking or being, like, say, victimized by the social stigmas, they listen
Mhm.
to this and they see how they can break through and break free from it. So
Absolutely.
if people want to connect with you, Imana, where would they find you?
So you can go to my website, which is imanaaziz.com. My Facebook, I'm always open for DMs, even if you just want to chat, is Imana Aziz on Facebook. Or my Instagram is Imana's Voice Instagram.
Wow, that's very incredible, Imana. So is there any last word that you want to share, with women that is outside in the world?
Oh, I'll leave them with these parting words of don't spend time trying to find yourself because the person that you're trying to find no longer exists, even if you were there. Spend time learning, loving, and creating yourself, and choose those around you that will learn and love and be with the you that you want to be.
Amazing. That is so powerful. That really hit today's oh my God, this conversation hit so hard today, Imana. So, Ioana, thank you so much for, being a phenomenal woman and helping people outside there, especially women, to break through, to
Absolutely
build that,
welcome.
that confidence, to break through that social stigma. So thank you, and thank you for being a wonderful guest and being my podcast.
Absolutely welcome. And I look forward to being able to connect with you again in the future. And I would also post your podcast and your channel once you get it up onto my website. So women will not only be able to hear this, but they'll be able to hear your other recording because what you're doing is amazing and more women need to be able to sit down and listen when they have time because small changes start.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. So, ladies and I say gentlemen, but still ladies, what you heard today is so powerful, and I hope it resonate with a lot of you who's going through a social stigma, who's being pressurized by, by all these socials, labels that is going on outside there. And I hope you listen to Imana's story and see how she break through in her life and create that, powerful life for herself. If you want to contact with Imana, I'll leave all her contact detail in the description, which is below. You will find it in the description when you hit Spotify. So until I see you next time, bye bye.